Ladies and gentlemen, we have some pretty big information today. As you guys know, on Mondays, Activision puts out a blog post which gives us some information on what is coming next in Black Ops Cold War and what is coming next in Warzone. That's actually not where we're getting our big information from today, but rather various different leaks. And that's what we're going to be talking about through the bulk of the video, but we're also going to discuss what's coming throughout this week first. So there's a lot to talk about here. We're just going to dive into it, starting off with what is coming this week, and then the big leaks revolving around the Warzone map and new Warzone locations. And there's actually quite a bit there. So let's jump into it, starting with the blog post. So first things first, with the blog post, we know what is coming this week. First of all, we have a new gun game blueprint. So basically it's the same as gun game, but you use the blueprints from the store and things that have been released that way. Also blueprints from various different battle passes as well. On top of this, we also have the triple play XP weekend this weekend, which includes double weapon XP, double XP, and double battle pass tiers. So we're getting close towards the end of the season. So that is what we can expect to see. Now, on top of this, also late last night, we got an email from Call of Duty. If you're not subscribed to the email, you didn't get it, but inside there was this picture. So from this image, there's a couple of big takeaways. First of all, obviously we are in a burger town, and as it says on the note, came looking for supplies, then arrived. Some burst into flames, took refuge in the food court. Then others started releasing gas, lost appetite, running out of options, will find higher ground at, and then blank. You can very barely make out a T underneath that blood spatter, which makes me think that we are actually at train station, which is interesting because it wasn't one of the leaked zombies locations, but there is a burger town there. Now, on top of this, off to the left-hand side, you can see a cell phone with the 66% zombies infection rate. We are expecting that to raise once again this week, either to 99% or 100. And of course, that is when things are going to start to get crazy. And then of course, on the receipt, we also have the number 421 talking about April 21st, which we saw in previous images as well. Again, solidifying the fact that something is going to be happening on April 21st. So pretty interesting. And speaking of which, something that they wrote in the blog post today says this: and with season 3 right on the verge of dropping, be on the lookout for a tease of what's to come in Black Ops Cold War from Treyarch. So obviously throughout the rest of this week and into next week, we're going to be getting several teasers for season 3. And of course, as those come out and we get more information on what's actually coming, we're of course going to get the end of season 2 trailer. I will break those down and discuss what is coming next with you guys. But it is interesting that they don't bring up anything with Warzone there. And let's actually discuss why, because as of right now, there are two big leaks as to what is coming next with the Warzone map, and I wanted to discuss which one is real and which is actually coming. So starting off with what is a lie, you may have seen recently that the next Warzone map is going to be a Blackout inspired map in the Ural Mountains that actually uses the various different Fireteam Dirty Bomb maps and Outbreak maps to create an overall new Verdansk or a new Warzone map. This is actually not true. This actually leaked way back last June 2020, and what it was at the time was them making these Fireteam Dirty Bomb maps into a potential Blackout map. Based on some industry insiders, they stated that originally Warzone was only supposed to be a 1-year game. It wasn't going to be supported after Modern Warfare, but with its astronomical success, of course, they hopped on the bandwagon of let's keep this battle royale going, and now they're going to be supporting it throughout several different Call of Duty games, which honestly I do think is a good move. But because of that, this Blackout map that they were working on and Treyarch was working on got scrapped. So originally these Fireteam Dirty Bomb maps were supposed to be a new Blackout map. So if you've seen images or leaks of this different map that looks like a Blackout map and involves the various different Fireteam maps, it's not real. And we know this for a couple of reasons. First of all, there's been a leaked trailer for the new map where we see several of the locations, and it's very clearly still in Verdansk, not in the Ural Mountains. So we can put that one to the side. However, a recent leak actually came out describing all of the different new Verdansk locations. So Verdansk is essentially going back to the 80s. A lot of things are changing, but the tweet that I am specifically talking about is in-game files of the various different locations. And this tweet actually got a DMCA takedown, so of course I can't share it. But what I can do is read to you and talk about the various different locations that were in this tweet. Now, these locations are labeled as Donetsk, which by the way is like the real world city of where Verdansk Verdansk is based off of, and then Dawn 4, which is the next Warzone map, because Dawn 3 is the one that we are currently on, and then the name of the location after. And the names of the location are as follows: Airfield, Boneyard, Coast, Crossing, DWN, TWN, which I'm assuming is downtown, Factory, Farms 2, Gulag, Hospital, Layover, Lumber, Port 2, Quarry 2, Stadium, Suburbs, Summit, Super, Transit, and finally TV Station. So just looking at these, the first thing that you're going to notice is a lot of these locations are the same, or at least very, very similar as locations that are currently there. For example, Airfield is very similar to Airport. But if you've seen the leaked trailer for the new map, you'll also know that some of these locations that are on this list that are the same are actually changing. For example, the airport that you see in the trailer is a much different airport than we actually see in Verdansk right now. It's not blowing up like the current one is, and you see some older planes because it takes place in the 80s. Another great example of this is Stadium. Stadium has the exact same name in the files, but in the trailer, Stadium is just being built. It's essentially an open field with some construction going all around in the outside. And similarly, downtown is the same downtown, but with far less buildings because it's in the 80s before it was fully built up. Now, we also know that in the Call of Duty games, they like to make locations based off of maps that are already a thing. And there are a couple of examples of this. The most obvious one is Summit. Summit is a map that is a favorite by Treyarch, and you can see that it's on this list, and I wouldn't be surprised if they put that somewhere on the map, probably up by where the fire station is above Dam. That would be my best guess as to the location that would make sense. Another one that may have stood out to you Zombies players is Transit. Now, I don't know if they're going to implement the Zombies map Transit into here, but it would be pretty cool. Also, Treyarch always loves to throw Nuketown into their stuff, and since this is kind of like the Treyarch version of the map, I wouldn't be surprised to see that hidden somewhere on the map as well. Now, there's also a couple of confusing ones that aren't currently on the map, but could fit into areas. For example, there is Coast, Crossing, and Suburbs. Suburbs could be hills, the coast could obviously be where the area meets the water, and then Crossing could literally be any of the little towns throughout the map. So it'll be interesting to see how those are implemented, or if they're brand new areas. For example, there are some pretty fan favorite coastal maps that are in Black Ops games, so we'll have to wait and see. And then, of course, you have the areas that are labeled with numbers: Port 2, Farms 2, and Quarry 2. I would expect these to be very similar areas, but with changes here or there. And one example I have for this is with Quarry. You may not remember this, but in fact, Vorkuta Prison was actually in a quarry. Vorkuta is obviously from Black Ops 1, and I could very much so see them making Quarry Vorkuta because they already look pretty damn similar. Now, if you have any ideas about any of the areas that you see on this list, feel free to let me know down in the comments. I'm really curious if, one, I missed something that's pretty obvious, or you just have some good ideas. I would love to hear them. The other thing that I'm interested in seeing is, does the topography of the map change? If there's mountains in the map there now, are they going to stay there? Is it going to change? Is certain areas going to be flattened? That'll be really interesting for me to see. Or are they going to keep the exact same layout, but this change some of the locations? Once again, going back to the leaked trailer that we saw that the dam is not going to be the dam anymore, but rather just like a kind of bridge waterway that goes across with kind of like a field area that you can go to underneath, which is completely different. But of course, the last thing that we have to talk about is, when is this happening? Now, as we discussed earlier, this week, the zombies infection rate is either going to go up to 99% or 100%. And of course, that leads us into the end of season 2. However, there was a leak saying that there's going to be kind of two different versions of the nuke event that is happening with two different calling cards you can earn, which makes me think that maybe we don't get this new map right at the beginning of season 3. Maybe it's 1, 2, 3, or even at the mid-season update for season 3. But needless to say, I'm willing to bet that it's going to be in season 3, even though some people are saying since it's Dawn 4, it might not happen till season 4. But I think that would be really bad for the game, so I think they're going to try to push this thing out as soon as possible. But in the next coming weeks, it's going to be very interesting with the nuke event, with the end of the zombies outbreak, and of course with the introduction of this new leaked map. Things are going to get very interesting, and as they do, I will keep you guys updated with all of the leaks, all of the news, all of the teasers. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not already, be sure to hit that button, turn notifications on. Also, if you enjoyed this video, it is always appreciated if you do hit that like button. And like I said before, if you have any ideas about these various different locations, feel free to let me know down in the comments. But as always, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace out.
We are rich. reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I want